Hello, YouTubers, fellow RVers, fellow hams, and everybody else. I haven't done a Thoughts on the Road in a while. Kind of hesitant to do these because I always get a lot of thumbs down, some nasty comments. I usually lose a handful of Patreon supporters, and I usually lose a bunch of subscribers. But on the flip side, I also always have an overwhelmingly positive response from people that say they love hearing about my trip. They love hearing about how things are going and seeing the places that I've been. So I'm still going to do them once in a while. And it's been a little while, so I thought I'd do one today. I've been in the southwestern Arizona desert for nearly 2 months now. And I've loved it out here. Oh man, I like the desert. One of the goals I had when I started this trip was to make it to the desert and spend some time there. I'd never lived in the desert. I wanted to live in the dry air. I've spent nearly my entire life in the eastern part of the Midwest, up there, Indiana, Michigan. I was born in Michigan and went to Fort Wayne, Indiana to go to school, and just never left. Stayed there for 33 years. Got married, had a kid, went through a divorce that soap opera writers would have a hard time coming up with, that turned me gray, and then raised my son as a single parent, and I managed to do all of that. The marriage and divorce kind of wiped me out financially, and I never really recovered. But my son, he never wanted for anything. He had clean clothes, he had food, he had band instruments and computers, and he had a good, full youth, and that was my goal, and I accomplished that. So, but I've never been out in I've been through the desert. I took my son to visit the Grand Canyon, Meteor Crater, the Petrified Forest, the Painted Desert. We've gone south. I took him south into the woods, and we caught fish from a stream in the woods and cooked them on the shore. We traveled a bit, but I never really spent time in the desert. And now I've been here for 2 months, and I love it. I love it. I could live the rest of my life out here, I think. The dry air is great for my skin, and I've got a heck of a tan going on, as you can see. Somebody commented in another video I did recently that I'm orange. Yeah, I've got a heck of a tan. I love walking the trails out here, out in the middle of the desert. It's scrubland. There's a never-ending variety of geology and rocks. There's desert fauna, brittle bush and cacti. Saguaro cactus, the big tall ones that you see in the pictures, are all over the place, and they're fascinating. The wildlife, the insect life, I've always been an outdoor kind of guy, and I'm totally enjoying that aspect of it. I walk a 2-mile trail midday, and I walk another mile trail at sunset out here, and I just love it every time. It's wonderful. So the channel has been doing okay. It's been growing. I'm pleased with that. I did have, over these past few months, I've had a loss of quite a few Patreons, and a dip in subscribers and activity, and then a slow growth again. And I expected that. This was a big shift. Going from being in the house with all the resources I had to build things there to being in this RV with much more limited resources. I knew the channel content would shift, and it has. And I knew that shift would cost me subscribers and Patreons, which it has. But I also knew that I would start gaining others, and that it would recover, and it is slowly recovering. So it looks like it's sustainable as long as I can keep coming up with content, and that's becoming a bit of a challenge. I've done so many videos, I've covered so many things that I've done and learned that it's getting harder to come up with things. I do have a repair that I can do. I've got a radio that a viewer sent in, a Kenwood 2-meter radio. I know he's been patiently waiting, and I'm going to get to that here real soon. Getting ready to move. I've been here, the Yuma and then Quartzsite area, and these LTVAs, long-term visitor areas, are great for parking and just sitting. you have to go into town for supplies and such, but they kick you out on the 15th. And the reason they do is, well, it's starting to get hot. We actually had a day earlier this week that tickled 100 degrees and mid-90s for a couple of days. And yeah, it gets hot. In an RV in the middle of that heat, you could die out here. It's just crazy. But anyway, I'm going to be moving. When I was at Imperial Dam, the Senator's Wash area down there by Yuma, I hung out with a large group of hams that's there every winter. They call themselves the Rat Pack. And there's, I think it was 14 or 15 on the list that James sent out of this year's group. And they all cluster together in the same area, and met a lot of them and had a good time hanging out with them. And I hope to go down there again this winter and spend the winter down there again with the same group. But one of the hams from that group has a little land up around Kingman, and he's allowed one of the other guys to park there over the summer, and allows me to hang out with him up there too. So I'm going to park up there for a while. I might spend the summer there. It's at about 3,500 feet. It's still desert, but being higher in altitude, the temperatures should be mostly in the 80s with a few in the 90s. And that's doable. I can survive that just fine. And it's near Kingman and another city, so there's probably plenty of resources for getting groceries, getting propane and such. I had a viewer comment just offhand. He referred to my life now as a never-ending vacation, and no, it's not. I wanted to address that directly. I know that a lot of people probably see me out here in an RV, and what they have in their mind to associate to that is the weekend or the week that they pack the family up and they go someplace and camp and then come back home. And they're thinking that I'm just on that permanent vacation, but it's not. It's not a vacation. The things that you can take for granted in a house, the things that are piped to your house that you don't have to think about, are resources that I have to go get. Things like water, sewage, food, propane for cooking and running the fridge. They're not piped to my RV. I have to find them. And moving around, I always have to find them again. When I move up to Kingman, I'm going to have to find a source of propane, because about every month I have to go and get the propane tank refilled. If I was using it for heat, that would be a weekly occurrence, or every few days. That would just be crazy. Water, I have to go and find water, and usually pay a fee to fill up my water and to empty out my holding tanks to get rid of my sewage. But I have to find it every time. I have to find it. It's a little stressful. Life in the RV is a few days of relative ease, and maybe a week of ease and ease of mind. And I work on things for the channel. I work on social media daily. So there's it's work. And then a few days of stress, because when you move, you have to find a new place. And then can you afford it? The budget is always over my head. I make between 11 and 12,000 a year. Lately, 11 and less. And that's not a huge income. So I have to be very, very careful about traveling and moving. Gas is the biggest expense when I travel. Driving out here from Rockport, for example, was well over $400 in gas. It's a big chunk of money. It was more than it was almost two-thirds of what I made that month. Was just the gas driving out here. So it's not a permanent vacation. I'm not sitting under the palm trees sipping pina coladas and listening to Margaritaville on the radio. I'm working. It's a different kind of stress. Stress. A life in a house is a certain kind of stress. This is a different kind of stress. So no, it's not a permanent vacation. It's a lot of work. But anyway, I'm going to be spending more time in the Arizona desert, just at a higher altitude. I'll be moving in a couple of days. I'll be making the trek up to Kingman, or the Kingman area. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Just a little chat. Video content. It's getting harder to come up with things to do. I've covered so many things. Well over 300 videos that are mostly ham radio related. Plus some other videos. You know, I think I'm at 350, 360 videos on the channel now. And I've seen other channels sort of hit a peak, or pinnacle, or plateau. That's the word, a plateau. And they just stop producing content, and I can't do that. This is my income. This is my life right now until I find work at a place I want to stay. So I need to come up with content. I've been doing a few viewer requests lately, and I really enjoy that. You know, and I want to do more. If you guys have something you'd like me to cover, definitely comment or send me a message on the Facebook page or whatever. And, you know, if I can, I will. Don't ask me, you know, hey, can you do a review of Radio X? You know, can you do a review of the Elecraft KX2? Or can you do a review of the Mosier whatever antenna? I could if I had one, but I don't. In a lot of cases, I've had people ask me, you know, hey, would you do a video on this piece of equipment? And I've had to respond with, if I had one, I would. And I had one guy, and it shows how people are disconnected from the reality of my situation. I had one guy say, well, just go buy one. No, I can't. You know, it is what it is. I try to be honest with you guys. You know, I'm not whining here. I'm not complaining. You know, I'm just talking to you, person to person, letting you know that this is who I am, and this is what's going on, and this is my situation. And so, you know, within the bounds of that scenario, if you have something you'd like me to talk about or cover, or a question about something, I just recently did a video answering a question about the Whisper websites, which you've probably just seen. Sure, please comment and let me know what you'd like me to talk about. And if I can, I'll definitely do a video on it. I'll do the research. If I don't know the subject well, I'll do the research and I'll learn it so I can talk about it, and we'll cover it. You know, that would be great. I enjoy that. Really enjoy that. There goes the wind. The one thing I don't like about the desert is the wind. It'll go from being completely calm to 20-mile-an-hour winds in a minute. That actually happened this morning. I woke up about 5. It was completely calm. I was making myself some breakfast and some coffee, and all of a sudden, whoosh, over about 30 seconds, the wind picked up to about 20-mile-an-hour winds, which blew for about 2 minutes, and then it was calm again. I'll have days in a row where the winds are 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusting to 30 or 40, constantly. It just never lets up, all day, all night. And then you'll have days where it's windy and then it's calm through the afternoon. You're thinking, hey, it's going to be a calm evening. Maybe I can do that balloon antenna experiment I've been wanting to do for weeks, you know, and I'll start prepping for that, and then whoosh, the wind picks up and it's 15 to 20 mile an hour wind when the sun goes down and continues till 10 at night, you know. So it's very, very windy in the southwestern Arizona desert. It might be different in other areas, but it's windy here. I think over the 2 months that I've been in the desert, there's been twice where there's been a calm day or 2 calm days in a row. And the rest of the time it's just up and down and up and down. Wind, nothing, wind, nothing, wind, nothing. So right now it's blowing like crazy. It's mid-morning, cloudy, and about 20-mile-an-hour winds. So I guess wind would be the one thing I don't like about the Arizona desert. All right, well, I've talked long enough to probably earn about 30 thumbs down, and hopefully a lot of thumbs up. And for those of you that do enjoy these little talks, I'll try to do another one in a month or so, and let you know where I'm at and how things are going up there. Till then, 73 to the hams, safe travels to the RVers, and we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.